were talking about the Khabib, the Dagestan style, you know, the guys like controlling the guys in MMA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they get in those positions, half guard, side control, being able to control and pin the people, and them not being able to move, it's a lot different, right? It's a lot different.
Yeah, their wrestling style to just
The control,
the
right?
bottom,
The control, the control. So
I think too, it's a little bit of,
and I think that had to do with kind of how Jiu-Jitsu came up, right? Fighting other styles, right?
Yeah.
That control,
that makes sense.
That control and the pinning was like a big part, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to solidify those positions for sure.
Right,
yeah.
the position before submission, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was always the
Right?
yeah. It was always position.
It's been a bit, not that it's lost, right? But it's just
it's definitely not as emphasized as it once was. Yeah, and it's like you could just squish them, but I think too, like I don't know what it is, if it's just the amount of availability of content and stuff for people too. Like I feel like a lot of the lower belts, they're exposed to so much too through that they do get to learn a little bit more escapes and stuff, and a little bit more better just at the, like I think maybe if you took like a 3-stripe white, well, maybe not though, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot more.
I feel like the content, the stuff is there. Everything is out there, right? For sure, you still need you need mentorship but you need mentorship, but so much of the content or the information is there, right? It's just you looking for it and having your goal and then aligning yourself with that, right? With your goal, and then putting those things together. And then of course you need good training partners for your timing and things like that, right? But I think things are moving just so much faster, right?
Yeah.
With all the technology and the videos, the online, the tournaments, and then inside the gyms, the Instagram, like the reels, right?
Yeah. One thing I find is if somebody's doing something now, like I remember when I was lower belt and knee cutting became the big thing. Everybody was knee cutting, and I'm like, geez, I'm getting knee cut all the time. How do I defeat this? You would just have to sit there and think about it, or ask your friends, or ask your professor, or ask everything. And now it's just like, what are some
online?
What are some defenses? You go find 5 different guys. I did this the other day when I was neon belly escapes. Like, I have one that kind of works for me, but if you're going to show your students, it's nice to have some other versions, some other, like, get the whole picture of it, right? So I was like, I'll Google neon belly escapes, and then I found
it got me good. One of my tricks, I would study guys, right? And then I would basically rewatch, and I would basically break down their technique from the tournaments, You know what I mean? Like rewatch it, replay, and then really master that technique like that. And then that's how I would learn. And what's cool is that later on, like this guy named Mark Lehman, he was like one of the top jiu-jitsu coaches. Back in the early 2000s, he would come out with some of these mixes, and there's some other ones like BJJ Lab. I don't know. There's different people that do that, and they break down different like guys are like amazing at positions, Like,
so it'd be like an instructional, and he would go, or he would just say, hey, here's.
He would break down from the matches. He would break down all the matches. He'd be like over under pass, and this guy, he's the master at the over under pass, and then he would just like all these scenarios and how they would get into it and how they would pass, and that's helpful, right?
Oh, for sure.
Then you learn like the different scenarios,
Yeah, it's like, now when you get to your black belt now, and you barely get, people don't catch you as much anymore. Like, you don't get tapped, most training sessions, or unless you're, there's gyms where you're full of just sharks and you're all killing you, but you get caught less. But the minute you get caught, for me anyways, in anything, it's like, okay, well, looks like I'm heading to the tapes. I'm looking for what's his name, caught me in, does it to everybody, Anthony, in the baseball bat choke. So I'm like, you better believe I have some baseball bat choke escapes now. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's like a gift. You're like, okay, I'll find a way to get out of this from every position I can. And it's so cool to have that knowledge. But there's nothing that you can beat with having a coach showing you a move of the day, and you being in that environment with 5-10 other people, and doing some drills on that move, or doing some drills on another move, and then doing your specific training, which I think is I've had all my development from specific training. You were very big on that. I remember we used to, whatever we were working on then, whether it's full guard, half guard, whatever. It's like half guard, everybody get down, grab your bases.
Yeah.
And then you just launch them at us, because we've always been especially the last 10 years, this club has been lots of competitive people here. Lots of students train at lunch.